Hello students, I am your Rajni ma'am and today we will continue with the second chapter of class 8th biology, that is microorganisms. So already we have started the chapter and we have seen the different type of microorganisms and their characteristic features. Now today in this session we are going to see the useful microorganisms. So few organisms are useful to us and we will see in what ways these microorganisms are useful to us. Now let's start this session. Now as you all can see on your screen, the picture of bacteria and the picture of curd. So definitely these microorganisms, these bacteria are useful to convert this milk into curd. So bacteria convert milk into curd. So few bacteria like lactobacillus and streptococcus, so what they do, so they in sometime you might have seen your mother when they want to make curd, so what they do, so she put the starter into the milk and then she leave it for overnight. So what happens, so these bacteria, they convert the milk, they convert the lactose present in the milk. Lactose is what? That is the carbohydrate. So they are converting these lactose and this lactose is being converted into lactic acid. That's why if you will taste curd, it is sour in taste. So microorganism like streptococcus bacteria, lactobacillus bacteria, these bacteria are useful in converting milk into curd. So you all can see the picture of bacteria. Okay, now let's move to the next features where it is useful. So the next, they are useful in making bread. So the yeast is used in preparing bread. So you might sometime you might have seen, if you have not seen in the TV, you have seen, or those who are interested in cooking, and if you know to prepare cake, if you are preparing cake at home, so you might have seen, for what you do, so first in the sugar, what you do, you mix a teaspoon of yeast into that and then you prepare the dough. So what this yeast to do, so this yeast convert the yeast present break down the sugar added in the flour and produces the alcohol and carbon dioxide. So this process of conversion of sugar into alcohol by the action of microorganism, so this is called fermentation. So during this period what happens, carbon dioxide is produced in excess. So what happens, this carbon dioxide bubble out, and because this carbon dioxide bubble out and escape out, so they make the dough very fluffy and soft. And in the baking of this dough at 180 degrees Celsius, what happens, these yeast, they get killed, and this alcohol produced in this process is also evaporated out. So that's why you in the when you will see the cake or bread, so you will see there are small pores are present in that, which makes the bread very fluffy. Okay, now let's see where it is useful. So the yeast is also useful in making wine and beer. So how they are useful in making wine and beer? So definitely these yeast, what they do, so they form alcohol. So how they are forming alcohol? These yeast cell break down the glucose present in the grapes or wheat or rice, and when what happened, they are fermenting this. So yeasts, they respire without oxygen. We know that inside that the yeast is present, they are doing respiration, and in the process of doing respiration they are producing alcohol, ethanol they are producing. So this process is called fermentation, and then these yeasts convert the sugar present in the fruit like grapes or wheat or rice. So that sugar is then converted into alcohol. So these microorganisms are useful in the large scale of production of alcohol or alcoholic beverages like wines and beers. Okay, students? Now the next is to make dhokla, idli and dosa. So here also the yeast is get mixed with the grind powder of rice and pulses, and this is kept for overnight, and they ferment this. Because of the fermentation, we know that they are doing anaerobic respiration. Carbon dioxide will release, the carbon dioxide will escape, and because of this the dough become fluffy, and that's why if you will eat idli, you will get the soft idli because of that. Okay, so in the process of making dhokla, idli and dosas, so the yeasts are used. Now the microorganisms are also used as food. So in some of the countries like China and Japan, what happens, certain algae are used as a seaweed. They are used as a food. So some algae are used as a food for the cattle. Now in the picture you all can see agar-agar is used to prepare gelatin, which is then added into ice cream and jellies. So this is added to prepare this. So many marine animals uses this phytoplanktons and diatoms as a food. So algae provide food to the large number of fishes living in the water. So we also know that one of the example, if you will take, so fungi is also we are eating, how in the form of mushroom. So we are using as a food. Mushroom we all are eating, and that is the rich source of protein. Okay, now next slide, let's see what is there. So in the medicine industries, it is also used. It is used to prepare antibiotic. Okay, so from the word biotic, it means that it is definitely extracting from the living organism. And what sort of living organism? They are the microorganism only. So when from the microorganisms, we are using few microorganisms, so to stop the action of other microorganisms which are disease causing microorganisms. So this is antibiotic. So some microorganisms like bacteria and fungi are used to make medicines. So this is antibiotic. So they are helpful in preventing the growth of disease causing microorganisms. So some common microorganism antibiotic, we know that is azithromycin or erythromycin or tetracycline, streptomycin, we know that. Okay, now the first antibiotic was penicillin, and that was extracted from the fungus called Penicillium notatum. Okay, now let's see what is next. To prepare the vaccine. Now first we have to understand what is vaccine. So vaccine is prepared from the weak or dead microorganism. So what happened, we take weak and dead microorganism, and from them we are preparing vaccine, this vaccine, and then when these vaccine is either orally taken or injected in our body, so this process is called vaccination. So what happened, so when these vaccine is when get inside our body, so our body see, oh, something new foreign material is there inside our body. So our body started producing antibody against that the vaccine what we have taken. These vaccines nothing else than the microorganism which are very weak or dead. So our body is producing antibody, and they are getting ready with that ki, oh, if something will come. So what happened, when the real one microorganism, when they are attacking in the in our body, so the our body is already prepared to fight against these germs. So this is vaccine, this is called vaccination. Okay, and because this they are protecting our body against the disease, so we are also called this as a immunization. Now let's see the next process. So in the next process we can see the few microorganisms like Escherichia coli is used to prepare a vitamin B complex in our body. So this Escherichia coli is present in the intestine of humans and animals, and they are preparing the vitamin B complex in our body. So we know the benefit of vitamin B complex. You can already see in the picture it is given that it is used to boost the skin and hair health, then stimulate the immune system, then form the red blood cells in our body. Then it also helps in improving memory, enhance the mood, and it also useful in increasing the energy. Now let's see the next. So this microorganism, few microorganism like bacteria, so they are useful in preparing insulin hormone. We know that the hormone is produced in our body. It is that which is produced in our body. So how come that hormone which is produced in our body, we are taking it from the microorganism? So as you all can see in the picture, we are taking human cell, and the cell where the gene is responsible to produce this insulin. So we are taking out this gene, and then we are taking the microorganism and we are taking out the plasmid of it. Already in the video of microorganism I told you about the plasmids. So we are taking them and we are mixing them. So this process of mixing is called recombinant plasmids, and then we are placing it back into the bacteria and we allow it to grow. So when these bacteria will grow, so definitely they are having the gene to produce the insulin. So these bacteria produces insulin, and then we are extracting out the insulin, and then we are using the insulin. So we know that at your home, if someone who is suffering from the diabetes, and if the level of the diabetes get very high, the sugar level gets high, so some doctor asks them to take the shot of insulin. They are taking the injection of insulin. So those who at home, if your grandparents or parents, those students might be very much familiar about this. Now along with the food industries and medicines, the microorganisms are also helpful in the industries like retting. What happened, as you all can see the pictures, two humans are there, two men are there, men are there, and what they are doing, they are dipping the stalk of the plant into the water, and then they will leave it for few days. So in what happened, the bacteria will loosen the fiber from the stalk of the plant, and after that they will take out the fibers. So the plant like cotton, hemp, jute, so how we are getting the fiber from them? So we first we will keep it them for the retting, and then these fibers are easily taken out. Okay. Because now let's see the next process. Now the next process is the tanning of leather. So what is this process? Now the bacteria, so these bacteria, few microorganisms, so what happen, they work upon the leather of they work upon the body of the animal, and they help to loosen up the skin. So in the process, in the leather industry, leather can be easily taken out from the body of animals, because these microorganisms, these bacteria, they have loosened up the skin of the animals. Okay students, now it is also used in the agriculture. Microorganisms are also used in the agriculture. Now we know that already in chapter 1 you all have studied that few microorganisms, few bacteria like Azobacter or few bacteria, so they are present in the legume plant in the form of root nodules. They are present, and what they do, they trap this atmospheric nitrogen and convert this atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates and nitrites. So they also help in the fertilizing the soil. They are the natural fertilizers. Now bacteria are also helpful, few microorganisms are also helpful in cleaning So how they are helping cleaning the environment? So they act as a decomposition of sewage, whatever the sewage or the waste or the kitchen waste is coming out, so they decomposes that. Along with that, they decomposes the dead body, dead microorganisms, like it can be plant or animal, so they decompose and thus clean our environment. So till here in this slide. So in the next slide we will see about the harmful microorganism, how they are harmful to us. So till then, take care. Thank you, class.